Hey there, Mr. Gilbert CJ, the perfect tutor, the English perfect tutor. So in this video, we are going to look at speech writing. Speech writing. Many people tend to face challenges with this topic, speech, as it is compulsory when it comes in section B. Usually it comes in section B. Yeah, may I say it comes in section B. You don't need to choose, it's compulsory. So it gives a lot of problems to people, hence you need to know it. Okay, we are here to make it simple. The perfect tutor, follow him. Okay, what is a speech? What is a speech? A speech is an oral presentation. A speech is an oral presentation where the presenter gives a formal message to the audience. There are keywords here which we need to understand. We are saying an oral presentation. An oral, that means spoken, just spoken. The presentation which is spoken. Sorry, the presentation which is spoken orally or orally. Now the presenter gives a formal message to the audience. So don't expect yourself to be delivering a message where there is no audience, then you call that as a speech. For a speech, there should be the audience or the people paying attention to the speech being delivered. Then we can call that as a speech. Very good. We have types of speech. We have types of speech. How many types of speech do we have? We have three types of speech. We have three types of speech. What is the first one? So the first one is the introductory speech. What is an introductory speech? So this is a speech delivered. We are saying this is a speech, and we have defined to say a speech is an oral presentation. So this is an oral presentation as well. Now it is delivered to introduce the main speaker or the guest of honor. The guest of honor. It can include the topic to be discussed by the main speaker, their occupation, and their working experience, if any. So it is like this. We have the main speaker who is going to deliver the main message to the audience. Now, before that person comes, there should be someone to introduce him or her, saying, okay, at this point in time, we are going to have Mr. So-and-so or Mr. Gilbert CJ to give us a speech on early marriages, on abortion. So that's why we are saying the introductory speech can include the topic. That's what I was saying, the abortion, early marriages, and their working experience. You can talk about the working experience. Mr. Gilbert, the perfect tutor of Knowledge World Academy, and the working experience you can say has been in teaching for so years. That's the working experience. So the main aim of the introductory speech is to introduce the main speaker of the main speech or the guest of honor. Are we together? We got to the second one. Before we go to that one, we're saying it is rarely short, or it is usually short and rarely comes in the exam. The introductory speech is very short. It's just to introduce the main speaker, saying, no, we'll have Mr. So-and-so to deliver this speech. So it's just short and it rarely comes in the exam. It has never been there. We go to the main speech. This is the speech delivered by the main speaker now. After the introductory speech, this one. So after the introductory speech, That means the main speaker has been introduced to the audience. He or she will deliver the main speech. This is where we have the main message to the audience now. This is where we have the main message. This is the one that comes in the exam. The main speech is the one that comes in the exam. The last one is the vote of thanks, or the speech of thanks. It's the same. This is the speech delivered to thank. This one is to introduce. This one is to thank the main speaker of the main speech for the ideas or knowledge shared. For the ideas. So after the main speaker delivers the main speech, for example, he has talked about abortion. Then he has raised points, important points. He has shared knowledge. So now there should be someone to thank or to appreciate that person for the knowledge shared, saying, "Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the knowledge you have shared. All the ideas you appreciate for that." So that's about the vote of thanks, or the speech of thanks, delivered to thank the main speaker for the ideas or knowledge shared. It also rarely comes in the exam. It is very short. So the one that comes is the main speech. This one here is the one that comes in the exam. Hence, is the one you're going to look at. The main speech. The main what? Speech. Okay. So we have factors to consider when writing this main speech. We have got the factors to consider when writing this main speech. What are those? The first one is topic. You are writing the main speech. And remember, let me put this point into consideration. The speech can be written on behalf of someone, or can be written just for yourself. You can write a speech that you deliver, or a speech which will be delivered by someone else. That's how it is. So now what we're talking about here is the main speech with the main message, a speech which has the main message. Hence, the first factor says you should consider the topic to be discussed. What do we mean? You must be sure of what you'll be talking about in your speech. You must be sure of what you'll be talking about. You must know the topic. You research and gather necessary information. So the topic will help you to know what information you must gather, or what language you must use in that speech. Because you cannot just start writing a speech about what? You just start writing, no, speech about what? What are you talking about? So that which you are talking about is the topic. So you consider the topic, that is the subject to be discussed in your speech. The next thing is the audience. You are writing a speech. You have considered the topic. You have considered the topic. What's the next thing? You consider the audience. Audience means the people in attendance, the people who is going to attend your occasion, or who will pay attention to your speech. So you consider the kind of people you will have at that particular occasion. For example, when you have let's say teachers, there are only teachers, and you are asked to deliver a speech in a meeting, maybe where there are only teachers. This is the first example. Then let's go to this one. There are footballers here. footballers. So how it is that you cannot use the same language you can use when talking to footballers with that one you can use when talking to what? Teachers. You cannot use the same language here. These are people with higher positions and these are just youths. They are just footballers. So the language you use will differ. Hence, you consider the audience when you're writing your speech so that you know which language should I use, what kind of people will I be addressing. That is about the audience. The next thing you need to consider is the purpose of your speech. The purpose of your speech. What do we mean when we say purpose of the speech? You must consider the aim of your speech. Is it to educate? Is it to entertain? For example, you cannot deliver the same speech you can deliver at a funeral, at a ceremony, or at a celebration ceremony. There is a ceremony here, a ceremony and a funeral. And then you expect to use the same language here. These two things are different. This is a celebration and this is a funeral. So the purpose of the speech at a celebration and at a funeral is different. So you consider why you are preparing that speech. Occasion. The occasion means what will be taking place at that particular time or at that day. What will be taking place? Is it a ceremony, as I was saying, a funeral, a celebration? You consider the occasion. Topic, audience, purpose, occasion. The last one is logical order. Your speech must be written in logical order. You start with the most important one to the least important, or the least important to the most important. So it's like you need to follow that order, not mixing points. You need to follow order when raising your points. Gather necessary information. Remember, when you are delivering a speech, people will not be asking you. The audience will not have time to ask you, Mr. Speaker, we don't understand it. It's not necessary for that. It's not common. So, as you are preparing your speech, you must ensure that any kind of question which may be raised in the audience should be answered within your speech. You should be answering those questions by yourself. You think, okay, here a person can ask this. Okay, you put all those necessary information. That is about the factors to consider when writing a speech. We talk about the formatting or the layout of the speech. The layout. How do you write this speech? How do you start? Here is how to do it. The first thing you need to write is the title. The title. There are 5 things that must be included in your title. There are 5 things that you need to include in your title. The first one is the presenter's name. Your title must have the name of the person who will deliver that speech. We are writing a speech here. We are writing a speech. So in the title, there should be a person or the name of the person who will deliver that speech. Remember, a speech can be written on behalf of someone. So the title should tell us the name of the person who will deliver the speech. Second thing is the occasion. What will be taking place at that particular day when this speech will be delivered. The occasion, I've explained this. So even the title should be there. Then venue. The venue means the site or where the occasion will take place from. Are you going to hold it from a school or just a place? So now that the name of that place should be in the title, you include it to say at so and so, at Deliverance Church, at Wawa School, at Material Girls School. You indicate the name of the venue where the occasion will be taking place from. The next thing is the date. This is just the title. Presenter's name, occasion, venue, date. You must include the date on which this speech will be delivered. Time, the last one. You include time. 14 hours, at 16 hours. So how it is in the exam is that sometimes they will not give you date and time because they know that we've got many dates in the world. So even if the date and time is not there in the question, you come up with your own date, 20th April at 10 hours. You come up with your own. What you should ensure that these 5 things must be there in your title. And if you want to memorize, you can use this memory aid, a simple memory aid to help you memorizing these 5 things to be included in the title. Povidity, the povidity. This means what? The P stands for the presenter's name. The O stands for the occasion. The V is the venue. The D is the date, and the T is the time. Simple. So if you want to memorize the things to be included in the title, you simply memorize the memory aid povidity. Done. The introduction now. After you write the title, what you should write now is the introduction. The introduction. What do we write in the introduction? Recognize the people in attendance according to their order of seniority or importance. Thank the organizer for giving you a chance to address the audience. Only 2 things to do here. You recognize, or you greet. You greet them. The people in attendance according to their order of seniority, or we are saying the level of importance. This means if you've got students in the audience and you've got teachers here, then there is also the minister in the same audience. So when addressing or when recognizing them, you start with the most important person, who is the minister, then teachers, then students. This is the order of seniority. You cannot start with students, good morning students, teachers, and our honorable minister. No, that's wrong. You start with the honorable minister, who is the most important person. Then you come to the teachers, then the students. After you recognize that, you thank the organizer for giving you a chance to address the audience. You simply say, thank you, Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Chairperson, for giving me this chance, this precious time to address the audience. Simply thank the organizer. Simple. That is about the introduction. This is guided composition. All the things you need to write as stipulated are pre-described here. So you don't need to exaggerate or to write your own things. What you need to write is here, stipulated. Recognize the people in attendance. Just so, after recognizing, you thank the organizer. You proceed to the main board. So, what do you write in the main board? You simply write your points in logical order. Without beating by the bush. This is a phrase, which means you should not be explaining or giving unnecessary information. Simply go straight to the point. Start with the most prominent to the least prominent, or vice versa. This is the main board now. The points, how should they be? You can start with the most prominent. Prominent means cardinal or important. Start with the most prominent to the least one, or you can start with the least prominent to the most prominent. What we don't want is disorder. Disorder. Your points must be in order. This is about the main body. A speech is usually written in short paragraphs. This is because the presenter presents it orally. You cannot be presenting a speech like Ese Yamata Kazembe, no. Like Manots. How can you present that speech? Like you are reading. So it should be written in short paragraphs, straight points. Done. The conclusion. Simply conclude with a statement that restates the main purpose of the speech. Conclude with a statement that restates the main purpose of the speech. This means now the main body summarized in maybe 2 or 1 point. You put it in the conclusion. Use the order of salutation to thank the audience for paying attention to your speech. Again, you repeat what you said in the introduction, but this time you are not greeting the audience. You follow the order of hierarchy, or the order of seniority, or the order of importance. Start with the minister, the teacher. That's just an example. Then this time you are not greeting them, you are thanking them, you are appreciating them for paying attention to your speech. You call the seniorities, the protocols, then you say thank you for your attention. A speech is done. A speech is done. You should never write something like yours faithfully, yours. There is nothing like that in a speech. Just end it like that. A speech is usually written in present tense. This is because that's the actual day you'll be presenting the speech. So you'll be using the words like I am saying. Are we together? Because let's say you'll be delivering the speech next week. Then when you are writing it today, then you are writing, I'll be saying, Mr. Speaker will be saying. Then when that day comes, what will be saying when reading the speech? You read as I'll be saying, again it will be I'll be saying. Like the day has not yet come. So you use present tense when writing a speech. A speech is very simple. It's guided composition. What you need to write in the introduction, the main body, the conclusion is stipulated. Let me give you this example of a speech. Some people may wonder, how do we write now the title with those 5 things? How do we construct a sentence with those? So here is how we go about it. This is an example where a speech was to be delivered by Mr. Gilbert CJ, and there was an awards giving ceremony at the Knowledge World Academy on 24th June 2022 at 14 hours. Pupils passed very well. They performed very well in the subjects and in the academic performance. So there was awards giving ceremony. We had an awards giving ceremony. So here is how you can write the title. The title for that speech. Speech to be delivered by Mr. Gilbert CJ at an awards giving ceremony at Knowledge World Academy on 24th June 2022 at 14 hours. So, what have we included in that speech? Look at this. We said things to be included in the title are these: the poverty. The poverty. I like memory aids. I like using memory aids. You don't forget. The P is the presenter's name. What is it? It's here, Mr. Gilbert CJ. The occasion, what will be happening? There will be an awards giving ceremony. There will be an awards giving ceremony. Don't consider this. and this is typing error. Awards giving ceremony, the occasion has been mentioned. Venue, where will this ceremony take place from? Knowledge World Academy here. Knowledge World Academy. Venue has been mentioned. The date is here. We come to what? The time. The time is here, 14 hours. Simple as that. You have written the title. The title itself is about 2 marks for a speech. So the title carries marks because it includes many things. Povidity. Just memorize the povidity. You will never go wrong. You will never go wrong. So how can you start? For the introduction. This is the introduction. Look at this. So it's like we had the Honorable Minister in the audience. We assume we had the Honorable Minister in the audience. Here is how you can write the speech. Good morning, Honorable Minister of Education, Mr. Douglas Yakalima, Knowledge World Academy Principal, Mr. Leon Kauma, the tutors in attendance and their students. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to address the audience. The introduction is done. What else do we want? Exam is difficult. Exam. Why? What is difficult? Because it's guided composition. So they say in the first paragraph, you simply greet the people according to their order of seniority and thank the chairperson or the organizer for giving you the opportunity or the chance to address the audience. And that's what we have exactly done here. That's what we have done. We have only greeted the people or the audience according to their order. We have started with the Minister of Education, Mr. Douglas. We have come to the principal of Knowledge World Academy, Mr. Kaum. Then we go to the tutors. The tutors we go to the students. We have followed the hierarchy. Then you thank the chairperson for giving you a precious opportunity or that time to address the audience. Those are the two things you do in the introduction. That's all. That's all. In the main body, you bring points now. Remember, for a speech, points will be given. Go through different past papers and see where a question for a speech is. Check for a question for speech, you will see it. The points to write about are given there. Then, the most thing that you need to consider about speech, they will give you points in pa, pa, ka, ka, ka. But among these points, there will be some relevant points and irrelevant. So what you need to do is, first of all, you mark the relevant points. Okay, this one is going, this one. But first of all, considering the purpose of your speech, you read the question, you understand, and then you say, which points can I take when writing this speech? Which points? So when you say, okay, this point can go, you mark. This point cannot go, you do like that. You do like, okay, this point cannot go, cannot fall under this topic to be discussed. After you select the relevant points, you arrange them in order now. Which one should I start with here? Okay, this one. You write 1. Before you even start writing in your answer booklet, you write 1. Which one can be the second one here? Okay, this one. You write 2. So, after you arrange, you write 1, 2, 3, so you know now. So, okay, I'll start with this one, then this one, like that. After you do that, then you get your answer booklet and do this in the first paragraph. You greet and thank the chairperson. Then you start explaining your points in order, the same order that you have made here, without beating by the bush. Done. In the conclusion, you follow this order. You can go, Honorable Minister, Mr. Douglas Yakalima, Mr. Leon Kauma, the tutors, and the students. Thank you very much for your attention. That's in the conclusion. In the conclusion, you call the protocols or you follow this order, but now you are not greeting them like this in the introduction, but since it's the conclusion, you are thanking them for the attention, done. That's about the conclusion. That's about the conclusion. That's how we conclude a speech.